right off the bat, I want to say that these are just my personal subjective observations that I'm throwing out there, so by all means, take them with a grain of salt. And also, while I think Obamacare exacerbated the problem, I don't think it started it. I think the reliance on the medical insurance industry got the whole ball rolling, and Obamacare just made it worse. So please keep that in mind as well. But honestly, I think we're seeing a lot of primary care physicians today being absolute assholes because they can be. So here's my experience, if it means anything. Now, I've noticed this happening more and more in the past 10 to 15 years, but it's really become more and more commonplace in the past maybe 5 to 8 years. Now, back in the day, for people who've been around for a while, doctors actually had to care about their patients and what they thought, or their patients would just go elsewhere. You actually had to earn their business because there was nothing keeping a patient coming back to you unless you did. And that simply is not the case today. Now, after I moved last year, obviously I had to get a new doctor. And that was fine because the doctor I had previously was a complete jackass that I didn't mind leaving, so I went with a new doctor, the only one that was moderately close, that was actually taking new patients, and I gave him a shot. And it should be no surprise, he was a jerk too. Well, maybe he was, because in the entire year that I was with his office, I never actually saw the doctor. I only saw nurse practitioners, because now getting in to see a primary care physician takes a minimum of 3 months wait, and I couldn't do that. But the nurse practitioner was a complete prick, and judging how everyone else in the office was treated, I'm pretty sure that everyone working there was as well. See, they dramatically overbooked everything so they could make a lot of money. If you had a 9 a.m. appointment, good luck getting into an examination room before noon. Not once that I was ever there were people not getting pissed off and just walking out. It was just absurd. And beyond that, the place was chock full of pseudoscientific woo. Acupuncture, acupressure. I mean, they had a hyperbaric chamber in every single exam room. Now, they never tried to push that crap on me, but still, that's not something I was impressed with at all. But what I did care about was the fact that they were clearly holding prescriptions hostage. They would give you just enough, sometimes maybe, to get you through to your next appointment so they could charge insurance for more money. In fact, they tried to get you in there a lot. And I saw people arguing that they didn't need to come back once a week or heck every couple of days with a new copay and more charges to the insurance. But they didn't care. They were padding their books and making people sit in the waiting room for a profit. So, when work changed insurance, I didn't argue a bit, even though it cost me a little bit more every month, but it gave me new options. So I dropped that office like a hot potato and went looking for another one. And this time, I knew people who were going to this new office, and they didn't complain about it too much. So I went for it, and my first experience, again with a nurse practitioner, was pretty positive. She was really nice. She was very professional. She did what I needed her to do, and I didn't spend hours waiting for them to get to me. I liked it. Now, there's a bit of personal medical background that I need to talk about, which I really don't do, but I'm diabetic, and I have been for more than 20 years, and I'm usually under really good control. But my old insurance, for some reason, decided that after quite a while on a very effective drug, they just didn't feel like paying for it anymore, so they insisted that I go with a cheaper and, let's be honest, less effective one. Even my old crappy nurse practitioner said it was less effective, but he said, well, let's try it for 6 months or a year, and if it doesn't work, maybe we can get the insurance to reconsider. And of course, they never did. So, when I got to this new place with new insurance, the first thing I did was say, I want to get back on my old drug. And she says, okay, that's fine, but she wants to see my lab results after a couple of months. Then we'll try to switch, which is fine, so that's what we did. And while I was there, I actually signed up to see my real doctor, which, let's be honest, took months anyhow. So back I went with the same ineffective, crappy drug to give them the results they wanted. Anyhow, a couple of weeks ago, I finally got in to see the real doctor. And let me be perfectly clear, I am not at all impressed. He's a total jackass. He was rude. He treated everyone, including me, like we were all beneath him. And frankly, he even threw his own people under the bus. I pointed out that I wanted to get back on my old medication, and he acted like he knew absolutely nothing about it, even though the nurse practitioner had written it all down in my file. Of course, I guess he's just way too important to bother reading files, but what do I know, right? I mean, he even insulted her when I said we had already talked about it. It was just absurd. So I said that I had no idea if my new insurance would pay for it because, well, there were issues with my old one, and he said, screw it. He'll just send it through to my pharmacy and include a whole bunch of other prescriptions that I won't need if that goes through. Even though I said, that's a hell of a lot of work to put these poor people through to fill all of these prescriptions and then not need any of them. Well, what the hell? It's not his problem. And he said that. He said exactly that. That's their job, not his problem. He couldn't care less how much work he puts them through. And then this jackass, he's quizzing me on what vaccinations I've had like I'm lying to him. I mean, he's going, well, what date did you have that? I don't know if they were doing that then. You stupid asshole. Fuck off. Because here's the thing, and it's a thing that none of these doctors seem to realize anymore. I don't work for him. He works for me, or at least he's supposed to. But now that we have Obamacare and medical insurance, he really doesn't work for me anymore. He works for the insurance industry, which funnels an endless stream of bodies through his door. He doesn't have to care about any of us because there's a long line of people behind us for him to charge. I don't matter to him because I'm just a paycheck. He doesn't have to treat me right in order for me to come back. I've got very little choice. If I want to change doctors, it will take my insurance company at least 6 weeks to do so, assuming there are any other doctors currently taking new patients at all in my area. I am a captive to the medical insurance industry, and he knows it. He doesn't have to care, because I'm just a commodity for him to exploit. It's no wonder that people hate modern American doctors. They just don't care. In the past, they used to be happy to spend time with you, answer your questions. Today, all they do is move from room to room to room as fast as they can because the place is packed full and they really don't have to give a damn about any individual patient. They don't have time to get to know you, or honestly, they don't have any interest because they don't have to form any kind of relationship with you. You're just a number on a very long sheet. You, as an individual, just don't matter. And as I said, Obamacare has just made it worse because now it isn't just people who have insurance that get added to that list. It's everyone. Absolutely everyone has to have some kind of insurance or else. And that means the insurance companies are just passing out free patients like candy, and the doctors don't have to care about keeping your business because they never have to worry about running out of medical fodder. I mean, growing up, I had one doctor for 20 years. One guy that I saw every single solitary time I went to his office. Today, I don't think I've had one doctor for more than a year at a time, assuming I ever get to see my doctor at all. Growing up, if I got sick, I could have an appointment with my doctor same day. I could just walk into the office and he'd find a way to see you within a half hour or so at most. Today, you have to make an appointment months in advance, and if you're sick, You have to go to urgent care or an emergency room and wait for hours to be seen. And this kind of socialized medicine, it just makes things worse. It makes the wait times longer. It makes the relationships with your medical practitioner worse. I honestly wouldn't trust any of these doctors farther than I could throw them. I have, on more than one occasion, had to explain how the medications they are prescribing to me actually work. To my doctor. In the 10 minutes I actually get to see them after sitting in the waiting room for hours on end. But make sure you come back real soon so they can collect your copay and bill your insurance another $1,000 for 10 more minutes of work. If this is the great socialist future, I want no part of it. I pass. I want off the assembly line, back to when I got to pick my doctor and I could reasonably hold them accountable for the care they provided. Today, I can't. There's nobody to complain to, and nobody cares. If a doctor treats all of his patients like crap, he knows that they have nowhere else to go, and even if they did, the insurance industry will just funnel more people back into his waiting room. He's got no reason to care. And I, for one, am really, really sick of it.
Everything changes.